안녕하세요. In this video, we are going to review number systems in Korean. This is part 1, and in part 1, we're going to talk about Sino-Korean numbers. So there are two systems in Korean numbers, Sino-Korean numbers and pure Korean or native Korean numbers. Sino-Korean numbers are used for date, money, prices, addresses, phone numbers, minute, and second. Pure Korean numbers are used for counting ages and hour. So basically 1, 2, 3, 4 those were the Sino-Korean numbers in 하나, 둘, 셋, 넷, 다섯, 여섯, 일곱, 여덟, 아홉, 열. So those were the native Korean numbers, right? Those are combined with some counter nouns. So here I'm going to present some of the noun counters that are combined with Sino-Korean numbers. Some of them are already covered in the classes. So first of all, fifth floor. Floor is 층, right? So when you talk about floor, you use Sino-Korean number. So it's gonna be 5층, right? And we talked about this a lot. 학년, your school year, right? So if you're 4th grade or senior, then you say 4학년, right? And now it's important to remember that when you talk about prices or money, you need to use Sino-Korean number system. For example, the Starbucks coffee costs $4.80. Then we use 불 or 달러 for dollar and cent for cents. So it's gonna be 4달러 or 4불 or 4달러. 4달러 80센트. And here's the Korean bill. It's 1,000 won. Won is the Korean currency, right? So we say 1,000 won. Do you remember that units? 10, 100, 1000, 만. You have to remember those. And when we talk about lesson 4, so lesson is 과. So if you specifically talk about certain lesson, like lesson 4, then you need to use 사과. 사과를 공부해요, right? We're studying lesson 4 right now. And finally, Sino-Korean numbers are used for dates. So December 25th, you can say 12월 25일. So let's review how you can say date in Korean. So month is 월. So you can just simply add Sino-Korean number with 월. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. However, there were two cases you should be very careful. June is not 6월, it's 6월. And October is not 10월, it's 10월. So those are two exceptions you need to remember. And when you talk about date, you can just use 일 for day, and you just use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 30, 31, right? So let's just review. I'm hoping that you already asked your study buddy about their birthday. So when you talk about your birthday, 생일, you can talk about your year, 년, and then 월 and 일, right? And when you ask the question, when is your birthday, you can ask 생일이 언제예요? 언제 is the question word, when. So 생일이 언제예요? So as for me, my birthday is August 14th. So I'll say 8월 14일이에요. 8월 14일이에요. So hopefully you know how to ask and answer when you guys are talking about 생일. 여러분 생일 언제예요? Alright. And let's just try to practice with several numbers. 2, 27, 31, 59, 76, 94. Okay. Now, let's get into some bigger numbers. You can actually read your textbook page 101. So now, let me see. So this is 100,000 in English, but we do use a slightly different unit system. So this should be 10만. If you see 4 zeros, it's 만. But you have this 10 in front of 4 zeros. That's why you say 10만, right? And can you guess the next one? Yes, it's 100만. 100만. And of course, the next one is 1000만. And after 1000만, we have another unit, which is 억. So, when we talk about the multiples of 100, 1000, 10,000, which is 100, 1000, 만, 100, 1000, 만, and bigger than those numbers, you use Sino-Korean numbers. So 10만, 100만, 1000만, and 억. Okay, let's try some more exercises. So it should be 56. And then now get into 3-digit numbers. 279. That's how you read 3-digit numbers. And if you have 4-digit numbers, you use 1000, right? So 8437. Now pause the video and think about how you can read these bigger numbers. (2893) 59,247. So you can see 5 digits, you use 만, and then 1000, 9000, and then 200. 62,491, right? What about this? You have all ones for all those 5 digits. So in this case, you can omit 1 and read the unit name only, but not the last one. So, for example, I would read this as 11,111. So you just use unit name only, right? What about this? You can leave out zeros. So I'm just going to read it as 11,111. So 11,111 for the first one, and the second one is 11,101, because you can leave out the zeros. You have to know bigger numbers because when we talk about prices in Korean currency, you need to talk about bigger numbers. So for example, I will ask you the question, how much is it? Which is 얼마예요? 얼마 is a question word, which means how much. And you answer like this, 580원이에요. Won is a Korean currency. So, I will ask the question and you answer. Number 1, BTS 앨범 얼마예요? 네, 19,300원이에요. Number 2, 달력 얼마예요? 아, 6,800원이에요. Number 3, 에어팟 얼마예요? 네, 30 29,000원이에요. Which is expensive, right? So that was all for Sino-Korean number review. See you in the next video. Bye!